Welcome to the Partnership Power Hour with your host, Sandra Shelson. Featuring guests, Dr. Aleshia Hall-Campbell and Wendy Rosas-Altieri.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Partnership Power Hour. I'm Sandra Shelson. I'm the Executive Director of the Partnership for a Healthy Mississippi, and you are now a part of our wonderful bi-weekly calls that we have. Oh, man, it's hard to believe it's been going on for right at 2 years now. I think it shows that this is a real service, that we've had so many dedicated callers for such a long time. And now that we are trying to be a little bit more thematic in what we do, we hope that it will be an even better, greater service to you all. Today's call is going to be about nutritional wellness, a topic that's near and dear to all of our hearts. And so I'm going to say a couple of words, about nutrition overall. In this day and age, it's so easy to get fast food. And, we live in the supersized age, so it's very easy to get fast food that is very cheap. And we're all busy people, so it takes a lot sometimes for us to, figure out ways that we can feed our families that are affordable and nutritious. Especially important with children. I know I was guilty many times on soccer practice nights of, finding the quickest thing I could. But we know more and more science shows us that it is extremely important what we feed our kids, even from the earliest age. And access to food has been an issue that keeps cropping up because we have a dearth of grocery stores in some of the areas of our state. Even though that we have a high obesity rate in the state, we are a hungry state. So sometimes that is a very hard concept to wrap your mind around. But that's why we're going to turn it over to our guest speakers today. Our first speaker is Aleshia Hall-Campbell, and she's the Executive Director of the Institute of Child Nutrition. And our second speaker, and please forgive me, Wendy, it's Wendy Rosas-Altieri. Altieri. I'll let you tell me on the call. And she's a Civil Rights Coordinator for the WIC program. So, Aleshia, you go ahead and make sure you star six yourself and make sure your own phone is unmuted. Aleshia?
Okay. Can you hear me?
That's work. Yes, it's perfect.
Great. Well, thank you for this opportunity. I am Aleshia Hall-Campbell, the Executive Director of the Institute of Child Nutrition, and it is an honor to provide an overview of who we are and what we do and how we play a role in nutrition wellness. So the Institute of Child Nutrition was established by Congress in 1989 through the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act. We are the only federally funded national center dedicated to applied research, education and training, and technical assistance for child nutrition programs. Our mission is to provide relevant, research-based information and services that promote the continuous improvement of child nutrition programs. So you might ask, what are child nutrition programs? Child nutrition programs help to ensure that children have access to nutritional meals and snacks in schools, summer programs, child care centers, homes, and after-school programs. They include the National School Lunch Program, the School Breakfast Program, the Summer Food Service Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The Institute of Child Nutrition is 100% funded through grants and cooperative agreements from the USDA Food and Nutrition Services. And our whole role and purpose and mission is to translate policies and research into educational trainings and resources. Our focus is to provide this information free of charge to all child nutrition operators all across the United States and the U.S. territories to ensure that they have the knowledge and skills to manage these federally funded programs successfully. We are housed at the University of Mississippi in the School of Applied Sciences, and again, our scope is national. So we provide trainings and resources all across the United States as well as the U.S. territories, such as Puerto Rico, Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we always joke around like we're kind of this hidden gem in the state of Mississippi. A lot of people don't even know we exist. But we work very closely with the United States Department of Agriculture to make sure that all child nutrition professionals are adequately trained to serve and healthy and safe meals throughout the country so our nation's children are fed. One second here. Our vision is to lead the nation in providing this research and education and resources that promote excellence in child nutrition programs. So as I mentioned, there are entities across the United States that do research in this area, and there are entities that provide and develop training. But there's not one that does the combination of research, education, and technical assistance. We collaborate with internal and external stakeholders whose visions and missions align with ours. And some of our national allied partners include the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the American Heart Association, the Culinary Institute of America, the Food Nutrition Association, and Whole Kids Foundation, which is a part of Whole Foods. And we're hoping that we can form a relationship here with the Partnership for a Healthy Mississippi as well. To kind of give you some perspective of the size of the Institute, we do a subcontract award with the University of Southern Mississippi, and we have 6 research scientists there who go out and conduct the research. And at the University of Mississippi in Oxford, we have a staff of about 45 to 50. We also fund graduate students so they can get hands-on experience in a multitude of areas before they graduate. And we typically fund about 20 graduate assistants each year. We have, as I mentioned, the Applied Research Division, which is housed at the University of Southern Mississippi. And their role is to go out and conduct research by addressing the operational issues impacting child nutrition programs nationwide. And so some of the ways that they collect the data, they do case studies, semi-structured interviews, focus groups, observations, national surveys, and expert panel work groups. And so we go to the operators and ask them, what are the challenges that you're experiencing? How can we further assist you? Because you may have some school districts doing some amazing things and having salad bars in their programs and serving really great fresh fruit and vegetables from their local farmers. And so the idea is, how can you replicate this in other districts? We want to be able to communicate and share that with other districts who are possibly struggling. So the idea is that we go in and determine these research-based best practices and strategies. We develop the educational pieces, and then we share that through a multitude of facets of face-to-face trainings, webinars, podcasts, videos, just to make sure that we're reaching all of those operators. We just recently launched the Culinary Institute of Child Nutrition, and it is a national culinary program designed to increase the knowledge and skills and competencies of all of these child nutrition professionals to produce quality and nutritious meals that appeal to students. A lot of times we hear that, school districts are hiring cooks, but they don't necessarily have those culinary skills that you would think a cook would have. They're just kind of used to the heat and serve method. But we want to teach them, how to properly prepare and how to make it aesthetically pleasing to students, because we all know students eat with their eyes, right? And so we want to give them those culinary skills to really improve the milk quality because, as we know, even in 2022 in this country, the school meals program is one of the main places that a lot of our children are receiving a well-balanced meal. And so we want to ensure that they are getting the best quality and that they're ingesting those foods as well. So one of the benefits of adding culinary expertise to these programs, it increases the appeal and quality. Most students increase the consumption of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. And it also involves students in the menu development. There are districts out there that have sort of a student-driven menu development committee. And they go and talk to the students one-on-one in this committee and try to see what are they like, what are they eating, what do they like to eat. And those operators are trying to include those menu items within their school program. So it's really exciting. As I mentioned earlier, our reach is all across the United States as well as the territories, and we do provide several modalities of educational materials. Through face-to-face trainings, online self-paced courses. We have over 90 online courses where you can log in. Everything is free. You log in and you take the course and you complete a pre and post assessment, and you have to make a 70 to get a certificate of completion. A lot of our users are members of professional associations, and so they use these continuing education hours for certification in these allied membership organizations. So that's a great way that they can utilize that. We also offer virtual instructor-led training. So due to the pandemic, we were able to pivot very quickly and offer sort of a live instructor doing trainings via Zoom, very interactive and engaging trainings via Zoom. We have toolkits. They can contact us, or even allied organizations and associations can contact us and help disseminate information. But we have toolkits and posters and fact sheets and infographics that people can contact and request, and we can ship them out free of charge. So some of those range from glove use, the proper way to use your gloves, the proper way to wash your hands, how to keep your food safe, the proper temperatures to keep your food safe. So it's a wealth of resources that are available. Speaking of that, we also have worked very closely with USDA, and we have created two new websites. One is the Child Nutrition Sharing site, and I would encourage you, if you have some resources, to submit them. But it's a centralized repository of information, tools, templates, anything where operators can come and access the information free of charge. So you don't have to go to the state of Mississippi's Child Nutrition Program site, or you don't have to go to Jackson Public Schools website to download information. Individuals all across the United States have uploaded these resources. So if you want to see what's going on or gather some other ideas of what can be incorporated in those programs, you can access this. We also have the Child Nutrition Recipe Box, which is a repository of all of the USDA standardized recipes. And so these recipes are available in multiple quantities, from small 6 size to 25 to 500. So it's a great way to go and find access to these recipes that are already available. Before I wrap up, just a couple other things I want to say. We are very engaged in the community in a multitude of ways. We offer dietetic internships. We have worked, of course, with the University of Mississippi, but we've had students from Delta State as well as the University of Southern Mississippi participate in our internship. And recently we've created some MOUs, and we are serving as a dietetic rotation for universities in Ohio and the state of Washington. So we are hoping to expand that as well. We have also been working with USDA on a very special project, the Native American initiative. And what we're doing, we're working to sort of explore ways that we can make our resources and educational training culturally sensitive to our Native American population. And so we're right now in the process of doing a needs assessment to determine those needs and how to best disseminate information that's more culturally sensitive. And then lastly, we do house the Child Nutrition Archives. It is designed to collect, preserve, and make available the materials related to the establishment and history of federally assisted child nutrition programs. So if you want to see artifacts and menus and recipes from 1950s, we house all of that. As district directors retire or move, they have some great history that they ship to us to house and maintain. And so that is available also on our website. So I appreciate this opportunity to just kind of provide a brief overview of the Institute of Child Nutrition. And of course, I am available if you have any questions or need additional clarification. Again, thank you.
Aleshia?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yes, this is Sandra.
I can.
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, and we'll take questions at the end as well. So I'm sorry if I missed this, but I know that you said USDA is one of your partners and that you work closely with them. Are you working in the farm to school or the early child care to farm to early child care arena at all?
So we have partnered with the Office of Community Sustainability at USDA, and we've received funding. And so we assist them in training their grant recipients and also other districts in farm to school and how to work with your local farmers and how to procure, farm fresh food items in your program. So we do have a connection there. It's a very small component of what we do, but we have done some relationships with them.
Okay. And you mentioned that you were doing culturally sensitive research and training as it relates to the Native Americans. What about the Hispanic and Vietnamese populations that also are here in Mississippi?
Right. We really have not explored Vietnamese as much, but we have translated many of our resources into Spanish, and we also have a full-time bilingual staffer who's available to receive and communicate with our Spanish end users to assist them with accessing our resources. Some of our online courses are available in Spanish, and some of our virtual instructor-led trainings are also available in Spanish.
And I know that we're going to want to provide all of the resources that you talked about on our website so people can go back and look at the websites that you mentioned and the different access to the different courses that you mentioned. Another question I have has to do with the food industry itself. Since y'all are all federally funded, is there, do y'all have them at the table somehow? Because, so many school districts they enter into these contracts with these very large food providers. So I was wondering if, there's any conversation interaction between the Institute and those that are actually providing the food through the contracts that these government agencies have entered into, school districts, et cetera.
Sure. So we have to tread that really carefully because we're funded through USDA. We're there are funders. We don't want it to appear that we are endorsing a certain industry or manufacturer or commodity board, but we do invite them into some of our advisory meetings and focus groups to have that perspective at the table, to understand what their challenges are in working with school districts and how we can train school districts to better work with them. So they are a voice at the table, but we do have to be careful that we don't specifically endorse certain industry companies and commodity boards.
how often do you feel that politics, and I'm not asking you to, take any kind of side, but, I'm old enough, I remember the big controversy when, during the Reagan administration, ketchup was declared a vegetable. Yeah. So I was wondering how do y'all navigate some of that kind of ridiculously.
Sure. Well, because we're USDA funded, we don't get involved in politics. We're, very neutral because we're funded through USDA. And so as each president and the Secretary of Agriculture comes in and they have a specific policy, it's our role to implement those policies and ensure that operators are trained in the latest policies and regulatory requirements. So we do not advocate, we do not lobby. Our role is strictly to provide research and education and training. So from that standpoint, it's really simple. When they come in, and we saw a big shift in Obama's administration in 2008 with the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act. And then we saw a shift in 2016 and then the shift back again in 2020. But again, it's just our role to develop and provide the educational resources and trainings based on the administrative initiative.
Do y'all work at all with the State Department of Health? Because, it's kind of interesting that you've got nutrition, government-sponsored nutrition that is bifurcated through USDA, through the Department of Health and the Department of Human Services, and through the Health Department. So, it can make it a little bit confusing as to which agency you are supposed to go to or through.
Right. So in most states, and because we're national, it does vary state to state, but in most states, the child nutrition programs are operated through the Department of Education because the Department of Education received the USDA funds. So we know a lot.
Another one.
Yeah. The Department of Education. And then Florida and Texas and a couple of others manage these programs through their Department of Agriculture. So those are the agencies that we typically work with as the state agency directors and invite them in and work closely with them. We do not work closely with the Health and Human Services and the health departments and that kind of thing. Our connections are through the Department of Ed and Agriculture, depending on the state.
What about any new trends in child nutrition that you are aware of that our listeners would be interested in?
Say that last part again. It sounded like you cut out for me.
I'm sorry. I said new trends in child nutrition that our listeners would find interesting.
Sure. So really what we're seeing is pretty much a lot of the farm to school is a big trend, especially because of the pandemic and the supply chain issues that are happening. There's a struggle to get food into the program. So a lot of the operators are trying to work more closely with their local farmers to access those types of resources. So that's a big trend, but it's kind of challenging right now to say because they are experiencing a lot of challenges with labor shortages as well as the supply chain issues. They can make out a menu. They can have a vendor scheduled to deliver it, but on the day of delivery, sometimes those items don't come in, so they're having to pivot. So trying to be as creative as possible when those menu items do not come in. Another trend that we're seeing, of course, younger students love spice. So there's a big trend on spice bars. And they're just picking those back up because of COVID-related, restrictions. But a lot of spice bars. So they're making, having all of the various spices, and students can come around and put the various spices on their food and kind of give it a different twist. The salad bars are always popular. And then the Chipotle style kind of, you walk through and kind of fix your food items. It's very interesting because they're really trying to replicate in a healthier manner what the food industry, your fast food and food industries are doing. The idea is really, and people don't think about this, your school cafeteria in most communities across this country is your largest restaurant. And so, what are restaurants serving, and how can we compete with the restaurants to make sure our children, our students are excited and they're enjoying the meal, because we all know the research with nutrition and academic success. So, we want to make sure that they're really getting quality, nutritious meals, because that does, translate into academic success.
That's great. I guess we can ask, I know I always ask so many questions, and I apologize for that, but I'm a very curious person. So are there any other questions? If there are, or if you, and if you have one later on after our second speaker, that's fine. But right now, if you have a question for Aleshia, please *6 yourself. Okay, hearing none, we will move on to our next speaker. And Wendy, I apologize that I butchered your name so horribly. So instead of doing that again, I'm going to let you introduce yourself so that you can say it correctly and I can be schooled in how to pronounce your name. So Wendy, please *6 yourself and make sure that your own phone is unmuted. Wendy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good morning. I'm very excited to speak to this group today. My name is Wendy Rosas-Altieri. I'm the Civil Rights Coordinator for the WIC program. We are also funded by USDA Food and Nutrition Program. We are housed at the Mississippi Department of Health. We also have independent clinics, 13 of them. I'm going to be speaking today about our program, how to apply, what to bring, and I'm looking at some of the handouts that we give to our participants when they come to the clinic. I will send them to you, and also I will send you the hyperlink for our website, who have all the information and other handouts also. And also we are in the process of updating all of these handouts, and as soon as we have them updated, we are going to have them in our website. So the website hyperlink is always a good resource to look for information. I apologize, I'm kind of a little bit sick. So when a participant comes to the health department or to one of our independent clinics to sign up for WIC, they need to bring a picture ID, a proof of residence, and a proof of income. A proof of residence is, for example, a copy of your light bill or water bill. And the proof of income, we are also flexible. It could be your check stub, but if the person is working in another type of job that don't have a check stub, we also accept a letter from the employer about the income. Also, if the participant also have Medicaid or TANF or other program, USDA program, they automatically qualify and they don't have to bring the income. The fact that they are on Medicaid, that is their income, their proof of income. So who do we serve in the WIC program? We serve pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, mothers who are not breastfeeding, and children until their 5th birthday. The pregnant woman, we do while they're pregnant and up to 6 weeks after they give birth. the breastfeeding mothers can stay in the program for a whole year, and some people think of WIC like formula, but I want to make sure that that I convey to you that we serve children until they are 5 years of age. We offer up-to-date information on breastfeeding and nutrition. We have also peer counselors that serve our patients, and nutrition counseling and referrals. A big part of our program is our breastfeeding program. When you are a WIC participant, you can take advantage of all. It's a whole separate program, but it's within the WIC program. We have peer counselors. We are in the process of having IBCLCs for the state of Mississippi through the WIC program also, and we're going to have some IBCLCs in the north, in the central, and in the southern parts of Mississippi. And there is so many services through the breastfeeding. You can have either by phone, or if you come to the clinic, the peer counselor, you can call them at the time that you need it. We also have breast pumps that the patient can take advantage of. If I'm looking, when I send you the resources and the hyperlink, when you go in the website, you can see the income guidelines, and I'm going to pull it here to just give you an example of, see if I can pull it here, of the income. To give you an example, like we have our military families participate from WIC, so that give you an example of the income. That income guideline is updated every year. So it goes up most likely every year. Of course, now that I'm in here, I can't see it. So in our WIC packages, we offer eggs, beans, cheese, baby formula, of course, for the babies, peanut butter, white or chocolate meals, hot or cold cereals, a selection of fruit juice, 100% fruit juices, canned tuna for breastfeeding mothers, whole wheat bread and tortillas, fresh and canned fruit and vegetables, baby food, fruits and vegetables, and baby food meals for breastfed infants. One thing I am very excited to report is that we are not, we don't have the food centers anymore. Our patients can go to the supermarket now. We roll up e-week during the pandemic, actually. So big kudos to our team that we were able to do that during COVID. And so now our participants have more choices. First, they can go to the supermarket at any time that the supermarkets are open. They don't have to have it from 8 to 5 like before. We have the food centers open from 8 to 5. They have more choices of all the items. They have more choices of cereal. They have more choices of fruits and vegetables. They have more choices of all the items. So it has been a process for our patients. Now they get a card. It looks like a credit card, and you get your benefits loaded in that card. When the patient comes to the clinic, they get a food guide this food guide, and you're going to see it when you look in the website or in the handouts I'm going to send, you don't only have a description of the items, but you also have picture of the items to know where you have to pick from. And this food guide is updated regularly. And also, as far as access to the program, we have, when the patient calls to activate their card, they have the choice to pick either English or Spanish. We have all of our handouts translated into Spanish and Vietnamese. Some of our services, we're working on adding the Vietnamese to the system. But we have everything, as of now, we have everything in English and Spanish. Through the 800 number that is in the card, the patient is able to call and see what their balance is, how much they have to go pick up. Another advantage of picking up in the supermarket is that the patient have the choice to pick up the whole packet like they did in the food center, or they can just go every week and pick the items for that week and then come back later. They have 30 days to pick up the items. We are also working in a week app. Is almost to the end of that project. So we're going to have a week app that the patient can have in their phones and then access everything, the list and everything in their app. So we are very excited, and please, when you get these handouts and these hyperlinks, share these, because I think a lot of people qualify for WIC that don't have, that don't come to apply. We, we can serve more people than we're serving now. So we will be glad to receive them. One thing that we are doing through, because of the COVID situation, is that there's a waiver from USDA where patients can call and get certified or recertified for WIC over the phone. However, if this is the first time they apply, they have to come to the clinic to bring their proofs if we cannot see them online. And also they have to pick up their card. But even during COVID, we did not stop serving our patients. At the beginning of COVID, our nutritionist or clerk will go and do curbside where we serve the patient in the car, for the protection of the patient. That waiver, I think so far is going to last until the summer. But we make arrangements depending on what's going on to keep serving our patients. Do you guys have any questions?
I have one about, how you mentioned pregnant mothers. How do you recruit? How do you let pregnant mothers know? And also, how do you encourage mothers to breastfeed? And finally, do you work in conjunction with certified baby-friendly hospitals? I know that's a lot, so you can unpack it however you want to.
Okay, so how do we recruit our district nutritionists? We have 9 districts in the state of Mississippi, and each district nutritionist go to the different doctors and promote the program, bring them a packet of what we offer. So there's a relationship between the WIC program and the local doctors where, for example, if a patient happened to be, they could be in the regular formula, but let's say a patient needs a special formula, that physician fills the prescription, send it to to the county health department, and then the patient gets the formula that they need. So there is a relationship between the WIC and the districts with the local doctors. How do we promote breastfeeding? Sorry. Within our clinics, when the mothers come for WIC, they get referred to the breastfeeding program through our system. So then the breastfeeding person contact the patient for services and offer the services. Also, the breastfeeding team also reach out to hospitals. Some of the way the services are done, like in the past, our breastfeeding counselors would go in the hospital. The hospitals will contact them, and if the mother needed, for example, a hospital grade pump, the breastfeeding counselor could deliver in the hospital. So that varies by areas. With COVID, that changed a little bit because there was restrictions on whether to come or not coming to the hospital. So we had to do some adjustments during COVID. That is slowly going back to normal, but the hospitals are still keeping restrictions on who comes or don't come to the hospital. But the breastfeeding counselors also make relationship with the hospitals and the breastfeeding employees and providers in the hospital. So there's a good communication between the hospitals and the breastfeeding counselor. Also, our breastfeeding coordinator for the state, her name is Kim Ramsey. She is completely involved and part of the Baby Friendly Initiative. So she is aware and she is part of the team of the Baby Friendly Initiative. So there's a very good collaboration between us and the breastfeeding and the hospitals. We also have baby cafes that also have to be tweaked during COVID, but we have baby cafes through the state that are sponsor, or we do collaboration with the community where moms have a place where they can go breastfeed and also talk to each other. And the breastfeeding counselors also go to these breastfeeding cafes to do breastfeeding classes. What was the last question about the babies?
No, that was it. It was about the baby-friendly hospitals coordinating. It sounds like you do a good job with that.
Yes. She is Kim Ramsey, she is part of the Baby Friendly Initiative. And also, we have a breastfeeding coalition that we are also part of. That in the breastfeeding coalition, the hospitals, some pediatrician, nurses and breastfeeding employees also are part of that. And also our breastfeeding counselors are part of the breastfeeding coalition. So we do partnerships with the milk bank, with everybody that's out there working on breastfeeding. We have connections and we work together with them.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you kind of the same question I had asked Aleshia, because, I too am so excited that the WIC centers are no longer, and that you go in, you have the opportunity to go into the grocery stores, and it was a long time coming. Yes. How do y'all interact with, now that WIC recipients are utilizing a system very similar to SNAP, is there any coordination between SNAP and WIC, as far as education materials and there's a lot of overlap. I mean, I realize that WIC is very, more specific population, but I'm curious as to how the two food service programs are interrelated?
I think with SNAP, we have collaborated in the past as far as flyers that we put in each other's programs. I think my supervisor, the week nutrition supervisor for the state, she's in the call. I don't know that there's any other SNAP and week collaboration. I think we have done flyers for each other, like we promote them and they promote us. But to my memory, that's the only thing I can remember right now.
Okay, thank you. Aleshia, do you know of anything from your standpoint of coordination between some of these similar feeding programs?
No, because that's a little out of our purview, so I'm not aware.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just was curious. Okay, are there any questions for Wendy or Aleshia at this point? Please, if there are, remember to make sure your phone is off mute and that you then *6 yourself. Anybody? Well, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Sharon Nettles for the extension minute, but I will like to say that, in keeping with this, next time's program in 2 weeks, which is April the 12th, the Mississippi Extension Service will be featured, and we will have a master gardener and a nutrition specialist. So we're going to continue with this theme.
Yeah,
go ahead, Sharon.
Hello, this is George. I have a question right quick before Ms. Nett get on.
Oh, sure.
I have a question. Okay, if say for instance, if a pregnant mom, she works and stuff, is there a gap or whatever that would not qualify her for WIC with the income?
I just found the income guideline. I'm going to give you an example of income. For example, a household of one can make like $23,828, and a family of four can make $49,025. However, we also have presumptive eligibility, where, for example, if a mother has a preemie baby that is declared as presumptive disability, where they don't necessarily have to consider the income of the parents, that patient will get Medicaid, and it doesn't matter the income of the parent. However, to be in our program, it's the rules of USDA. You do have to fall on the income guidelines.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
But if you have somebody that you think can use this program, encourage them to call, because we will let them know if they qualify or not. I will hate for them to assume that they don't qualify.
Okay.
Was there someone else that was trying to say something at the same time? We had a little bit of overlap. Okay. All right. Sharon?
All right. Well, we have had another awesome call, and I'm just going to piggyback on some of the things that they talked about, as well as, Sandra, what you mentioned at the beginning of the call about serving healthy snacks when we're on the go, when our lives are so busy, and also just briefly about dining out, to make sure that you are making sure that you get healthy choices instead of always eating that wonderful food that tastes good. But at the same time, we want to stay healthy while we're making these choices. But with our children, we can actually buy pre-portioned snacks like trail mix and nuts and popcorn that have only like about 130 calories. They are a little more expensive, so I do encourage you to make your own healthy snacks pre-size. You could actually buy the Ziploc bags now that tell you how much you actually have in that particular item. Like you can have a half a cup or a full cup. But some of the ideas are on the go snacks are like cheese sticks and fruits. You can make fruit kebabs, as Miss Aleshia talked about, making sure this is appealing to our young people as well as our adults, and even preparing these items for ourselves. You can do yogurt sticks. You can do granola bars. You can mix up fresh fruit with nuts. You can use nuts or seed butter with fruit. You can use hummus and pita chips. You can do muffins. You can do little jerky with cheese. You want to try to make sure that you get your protein in there. Also, you want to make sure you use a variety of things. You don't always have to go and purchase things, but you can look and see what you have at home already and make up your snack bags like that. One of the things with water, trying to encourage our young people as well as ourselves to drink water, you can actually put some 100% fruit juice in your ice cubes, in your ice trays, and you can put that in your water to encourage all of us to drink to drink more water in our diet. You can get a yogurt cup and you can put on the top of the yogurt cup, you can put like granola, or you can put a few Oreos, not too many, because we don't want to eliminate all the foods, but give them some, but also give them a healthy choice as well. You can make pizza out of a lot of different things. You can do with the egg English muffin. You can break it in half, put some spaghetti sauce or some pizza sauce on top of it. Let the children help you make it. Add the cheese and any of the other toppings, and encourage not only adding meat on your pizzas, but also adding those vegetables to encourage them to begin to eat more vegetables. You can make your homemade dips at home. You can check out our website, msucares.com. And you can find all of these recipes and things that I talked about. I'm going to talk a little bit about eating out healthy. Eating out when you're trying to select healthy dishes when you eat out. The main thing is to prepare yourself, because we know a lot of times what these restaurants have already. But look at their menus before you go to decide on what you can eat that's healthy. One thing that we encourage you to do also is to order a smaller entree if possible, or if you get a larger entree, share that with someone that you're eating with. You can also, if you get the larger entree, ask for a to-go container so you can go ahead and separate it and try not to go back into the to-go plate until another day, because usually we get a large enough serving. When you're at a buffet, try to walk around and see exactly what they have, what you want to eat, and try to fill half of your plate up with fruits and vegetables and things of the healthy choices, and try not to partake in too much of the meat, especially fried meat. You want to make sure that you use your whole grain breads and things of that nature. Try to use like mustards and your vinegars when you're seasoning your foods, and lemons and things of that nature, instead of always using the salad dressings that have a lot of calories and things of that nature. If you like the Chinese restaurants, if they have soy sauce there, ask them if they have something that has low sodium in it. Try to get more dishes again that have more vegetables. Also, instead of getting the fried rice, they can substitute it. They can give you plain rice instead. And if you're out with pancakes and waffles and things like that, you want to request a smaller stack of the pancakes. Ask for your butter and things of that on the side. And then you can get egg whites and substitute for your whole eggs and things of that nature. That was just a quick overview. Again, you can visit our website at msucares.org. You can find recipes. You can also find tips and things that you can do to make sure that not only you're eating healthier, but your children are eating healthy as well. We have had another awesome power hour. I'm going to ask again if you have any additional questions for any of our presenters again before we close out, or anything for Miss Aleshia or Miss Wendy.
Or any community announcements.
Or, yes, ma'am, any community announcements from any of our community partners. We thank you all so much for always joining us every other Tuesday. Any community announcement or any additional
I have one.
Please start. Go ahead, Joyce.
This is just a reminder, if you have not received your COVID vaccines or your boosters, please do so to help make you safe as well as others. And also, this is colorectal cancer month. So, and I'm just encouraging everyone to get their screenings done this year. Is very important for early detection. Early detection saves lives. And
Thank you, George. Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else? Any other community announcements?
Sharon, this is Sandra. I want to ask everyone if you have an idea for one of our calls, please don't hesitate to call us. You remember that these are now being recorded and then put out through our various platforms as a podcast. So they are available for people to go back and listen to again. And I hope that you are sharing this call number and sharing this information. That's it from me. Go ahead, Sharon. Close it up.
Thank you, Sandra. Did I hear someone else?
I forgot to mention that they are giving incentives for the COVID vaccine. One program is with the program that I work with, we give $25 for each shot. And GA Carmichael, I know they do $50 for the first and the second dose gift card.
Thank you, Jules. And again, we have had another wonderful, powerful Partnership Power Hour. And I thank our guest speakers for coming, Dr. Aleshia Campbell and Miss Wendy. I'm not going to butcher your last name, but thank you all for providing such valuable information. And I will be checking out, Dr. Campbell, your website to find out more about some of the resources that you all have, because when we do provide programs for individuals in the community, I would love to share that information with them as well. But thank you for what you're doing and how you're educating people, not only in Mississippi, but across the state. Wendy, we thank you so much for the services that the WIC program provides. Although COVID was rough on our communities, it birthed a lot of great things. So we thank you for what you're doing for your clients now, giving them that flexibility, coming in, doing that paperwork online and things of that nature, and actually going into the grocery store, which is absolutely awesome, and providing the recipe books and things of that nature so that they can provide nutritious meals for their children as well as themselves. Again, we have had another, I cannot say that again, this was awesome. I learned a lot of valuable information. I'm excited to go to the website to look and to click on their link to find out more information. Please visit www.healthy-miss.org for more information. As Sandra said, please share the information when you receive the text messages about the flyers, or if you get the flyer by email, please forward it to your friends, forward it to community partners, forward it to your church members so that they can know about all the valuable information that we are sharing on this call. Again, if we have nothing else, Aleshia, Wendy, thank you all so much for joining us. Sandra, thank you as well. And please don't hesitate, as Sandra said, please reach out to us. My number is 601-497-9884, and we can get you on the call. Or if you have an idea, if you're receiving the text messages, or if you're not receiving the text messages and you would like to receive the reminder text messages that we send out on Monday as well as the morning of, please, you can reach out to me again, Sharon Nettles, 601-497-9884, and we can add you to that call list so you can get the reminder calls. But again, we thank you. We pray that everyone stays safe, and hope you will be joining us in 2 weeks for the Partnership Power Hour. You all have an awesome day.